Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
Several concerned parents in Hillsborough contacted us after a local child care center lost its license and closed down.
Hillsborough is a town of about 1,600 people. The daycare in question took care of more than 50 children. We looked into the tot spot and found dozens of citations and numerous complaints from local families. Valley News Team's Molly Casey has our story.
The Tot Spot is one of 2 child care centers in Hillsborough and quickly hit capacity after opening last year. But Tuesday night, the center had to close its doors for good. The Tot Spot received 26 correction orders for violations between October 2016 and August 16th of this year. But the Tot Spot owner, Carrie Morehouse, says she feels many of those violations were questionable.
Some of them are very subjective, and how do you fix what tone is used? It's subjective, and who's to say that it's the wrong tone of voice?
Parents that contacted Valley News Live were concerned that they wouldn't have another option for childcare and don't understand why the Tot Spot closed.
We have an amazing center. The kids love it, the families love it, and I feel sad and defeated.
But despite these comments supporting the Hillsborough Tot Spot, Morehouse doesn't plan to reopen the center because it could put her Fargo locations at risk.
I'm selling the business. I have it listed for sale, which breaks my heart, and the town doesn't want us to leave. But yeah, I can't risk losing the Fargo centers.
The Tot Spot has submitted paperwork to renew its child care license, but it is up to the North Dakota Department of Human Services to review the center's violations and issue that license renewal. Now, in the meantime, parents can meet with the Trail County Social Services tomorrow morning to discuss their concerns with the Tot Spot and the need for another child care center in the area. From Hillsborough, Molly Casey, Valley News Live.
If you're interested in attending that meeting tomorrow, it'll start at 8 a.m. in the commission room of the Trail County Courthouse.
The lead investigator in the Savannah Graywind murder says the department has a very good case against the 2 people accused. But Lieutenant Jason Nelson adds there's still a lot of work to be done. Brooke Lynn Cruz and William Henry Hone have been charged with conspiracy to commit murder, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, and providing false information to authorities. Investigators returned last night to the apartment building where Graywind was last seen.
We received information from the BCI that led us to believe there were some other evidentiary things of value in that apartment, so we reapplied for a search warrant and looked for those items.
Nelson, who spoke to Chris Berg on Point of View, wouldn't say what investigators were after or what they found.
There have been a number of vigils held since Savannah Graywind's death, including this one tonight in Jamestown. We're told that more than 100 people turned out to honor Savannah's life and mourn her death. Family, friends, and supporters gathered at the park near 10th Street Northwest and 1st Avenue North.
Also tonight, hundreds of people gathered in Bismarck to celebrate the life of Graywind. Supporters came from surrounding communities and wore red to the state capitol grounds in support of indigenous women who are kidnapped and killed. Native American leaders sang and prayed in remembrance of Graywind. For information on where and when more vigils are being held in North Dakota, go to valleynewslive.com.
A terrorizing charge has been filed against a man accused of pulling a gun on another driver in what police are calling road rage. It happened at the intersection of Highway 2 and Gateway Drive today in Grand Forks. The victim reported that 29-year-old Justin Tolpingrud pointed a handgun at him after an incident on Gateway Drive. Officers caught up with Tolpingrud and recovered a handgun from his vehicle. He's being held at the Grand Forks County Jail.
A Fargo police officer remains on leave, and officials are unable to tell us if he'll still have his job after he was arrested following a domestic assault incident back in June. 34-year-old Jeremiah Ferris was facing 4 misdemeanor charges. However, we're learning today that a plea agreement has been reached. He now faces only 1 misdemeanor charge of disorderly conduct and has to pay $385 in fees. The attorney with the state of Minnesota says that because his charges were all misdemeanors, a plea petition was made between attorneys rather than meeting in court.
The search is on tonight for the person or persons who broke into a South Fargo salon. The front glass door was busted at the Head Games Salon, where a donation jar was among items taken. The money in the jar was supposed to help a hairstylist who's battling breast cancer. The owner of the salon says the shattered door, missing products, and scratches on the floor aren't a big deal, but the missing donations are upsetting.
That's why it's the worst part about it. Anything else is replaceable, but nowadays we need to see people that are giving and nice considering all the crime that's been going on, and then you see that and it just kind of makes your heart sink just a little bit more.
At this point, Fargo police are saying they don't have any suspects.
Amid all the tragic stories coming out of Texas during their battle with Harvey, there have also been some incredible stories of heroism and humanity, and that's what we're seeing in this rescue caught on video. An elderly man was stranded in his vehicle in the rising floodwaters yesterday when a group of rescuers jumped into action and formed a human chain to pull the man out of his truck.
Just one of the many touching stories coming out of the devastation of this historic storm. The system made landfall for a second time today, pounding the Texas-Louisiana border with more rain and flooding.
Teams of volunteers have stepped up to help in the latest shelter opened for evacuees. The death toll has now risen to 21.
Reporter Meg Oliver has the latest from Houston, Texas.
While the threat of heavy rain for Houston has ended, Harvey is still making its presence felt in the Lone Star State. The unrelenting storm system made landfall for a second time Wednesday, unleashing high winds, rain, and flash floods in the coastal communities of Port Arthur and Beaumont.
All my years on this earth, I've never seen anything like this. This is very devastating.
In all, the National Guard and the Coast Guard have rescued nearly 13,000 people. Nearly 300,000 homes and businesses have no electricity. Harvey has also driven about 32,000 Texans into shelters.
You must be so tired.
Yes, ma'am.
Among them, Lynetta Woodley, a mother of 4, who arrived at the NRG shelter earlier in the day.
It's like right now you got somewhere to sleep, but you don't know where you're going after you leave here. And that's the hardest part for me.
Thousands of volunteers like Nadine Nunnery have turned out to help.
It's beautiful. It's just showing the unity. It's showing that we all have something in common. We all care about each other, you know, regardless of the skin we're in or our beliefs or whatever issues we may have. What really matters is life.
On Tuesday, police found the bodies of 2 grandparents and their 4 grandchildren inside a van that disappeared in floodwaters, part of the rising death toll attributed to the storm.
Authorities are also closely watching an ammonia plant submerged in water about a half hour from Houston. This plant is expected to explode or catch on fire. A 1.5-mile radius has been cleared around the plant.
People in the Red River Valley are doing what they can to help out flood victims in Texas. Dilworth police were outside Walmart today asking for donations to go to those affected by Harvey. The items in this trailer will be driven to Texas with donated non-perishable food, toiletries, and clothes. Chief Ty Sharp says taking time out of their work schedule was the least they could do to help out. Donations will be collected again starting at 10 tomorrow morning until the trailer is full.
The disaster in Houston following Hurricane Harvey has put countless people out of their homes and onto the streets.
Aid organizations are providing shelter, but then comes the problem of staffing them.
Valley News Team's Clint DeRose has more on what those here in the Valley are doing to try and solve that.
When Ronald Abrahamson saw the images coming out of Texas, he saw people that needed help.
I just want to do something. I really don't care what it is.
Those people willing to give their time and effort met at the Red Cross in Fargo to prepare themselves to help those hit by Harvey. Volunteers learned everything from how to manage a shelter to what they need to know when giving out food in a hard-hit area.
This is an opportunity for people right here in their local area to be able to go and help those affected.
While Tom Tizell has been doing this sort of work for the past 12 years, he wasn't expecting the turnout for this class.
It's overwhelming to see that many people in a room that say, hey, I want to go help somebody who is thousands of miles away that I've never seen, I've never met, but I want to go make a difference.
And if they need a hug or they need something, whatever their needs are, hopefully that's what we'll be doing down there.
Help that is desperately needed. In Fargo, Clint DeRose, Valley News Live.
Volunteers in today's class that committed to help are now ready to be on their way to Texas if given the call. For ways on how you can help the victims of the hurricane, click on this story on our website at valleynewslive.com.